There you go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey. Today we're going to be discussing Stacy Osei-Kuffour. She's the writer, playwright who will be writing the Blade. One of the writers who will be writing the Blade movie with Mahershala Ali.
Yes.
This is a big deal because she was on the team that did a great job with the Watchmen movie, and also she's had a WGA award for writing, or I think it was.
For Watchmen.
For the Watchmen. No,
got another award for Pen 15.
Pen 15, that's what it was. So, someone who has solid chops. She's also a playwright. So, hey, how do you think this is going to impact the Blade movies? Putting on to Petey.
Very little.
You think because
she is a writer, yes. But no, obviously she's an accomplished talent, right? She's accomplished talent. She worked on Watchmen. She has awards before this. They talked about her humble upbringings and going to Hunter and a bunch of stuff.
City College, whoa!
I wanted to go there, but I didn't get to go. I moved to Jersey. But with all that said, right? It's Marvel. How many people have wanted to do their vision, and then they had to follow in line with the stuff that Kevin Feige wants, and she's not the director. So
are you criticizing?
No. It's not saying this is what is the vision of it is going to be Kevin Feige. So I'm saying, all right, if she's getting the job to do Blade, the idea is not hers. The idea is the studio and Feige, and say, you write this, right? And she pens what they want. She could be involved with the rewrites, or she could not. There could be other people involved after that, but the base screenplay is probably going to be hers. But ultimately, if she doesn't give them what they want as far as Blade, they will totally get rid of her and do something else, right? But ultimately, and as a writer, because we've listened to Christopher McQuarrie's podcast and saying she's at service to Marvel Studios. So this is saying to her talent, they want a name. They want a name, but it's not like she'll be able to bring that much. If you go too far from what they want, they could boot you. So ultimately, it's what we call assignment writing.
So yeah, and I see what you're saying there. I mean, Marvel has a particular system set up, and this goes from the directors to the writers, but she can definitely improve, put some of her own spin on it. Especially, she was on a series such as Watchmen. She can definitely bring, a particular type of viewpoint or aesthetic to it. Blade has been around for quite a while. It's an existing comic series. It was an existing comic series. I think he's coming back again, maybe getting his series, but he's also already in some comics right now. David Goyer had some movies with Blade, and I find it exciting. Hey, giving new voices a chance, whether it's a young lady like her or someone else. I think it's always good to give other people a chance, because you want to hear their different points of view. It could be a young Latino guy, for all I could say, but let's get more people out there who we can see and bring something different to the role. And I can imagine it just wasn't her. They probably brought a whole bunch of different people in to check out, and she was the one who ended up getting the job. And I say mad kudos. But it is a system. Marvel is a system, and you're going to have to probably play within that system and hopefully show some of your own individuality and talent while you're in there. Once again, shout out to the Hunter College grad, CUNY.
I'm going to say like this.
And she got credits. She got credits, right? Is that like they're picking somebody who doesn't, like, they always talk about
color coding these things? So you feel like, say they don't, who's going to be the director of Blade? Who is the director of Blade? Is it a black dude? Marvel Studios Blade director.
Oh, you a slow typer.
First story. See what the cell is color coded. a black woman. And the same thing they're saying, oh, can them all be written by a woman? But they say now a black woman, that sort of thing. And it's just like when you see these other sort of properties, you don't hear this by by a white man, that sort of thing. And I don't not with the color coded sort of thing. She has credits that are outside of color, which is Hunters. Oh no, an ad popped up. See what the trouble is? She had Watchmen. Even though Watchmen had a lot of black content in it, Pen 5, Hunters, and Run. And
And
that's all
plays, and
stuff,
plays, and
huh?
plays. It's done plays.
But I'm talking about stuff that people would know, right? To stick to that. I'm not trying to go through her whole catalog. I'm just trying to say this is she's taken on properties that have gone to these big platforms.
Okay.
HBO, Hulu, Amazon, that's those is a big thing. So it was just saying this person is worthy of it, and let's move on. Instead of saying we're being progressive, you be progressive and you say, we're taking Captain America, we're putting this chick on it.
You consider that more progressive than putting her on Blade?
Without saying that she's black, put it on there, then we go to the premiere. Then we like to give award to Stacy Osei-Kuffour. Oh wow, that's the person who wrote the Captain America movie. Wow. And then the
And
people like, oh, it's a black woman, and the kids are like, wow, that's great.
I
So
think
we got the top. We need a top black person for this Blade movie. When ultimately the biggest, well, that's the other thing. We can't even look at Goyer as a white guy writing Blade as a big issue because the main producer of it was Wesley. It was Wesley's company that really kept the ball rolling with Blade and the Black Panther when he was trying to get that done. So what do you say that? I mean, what can you say to that? That's you can say, well, why didn't such and such direct? Like he was trying to get a director. He had John Singleton for Black Panther. Well, but what's the name wanted more action in it, which he was right about. So I'm just saying when this chick is moving on to, well, no, that's saying she will move on to other stuff like say Shonda Rhimes being able to handle content with white people and that sort of thing. So I think to try to really be progressive is when we see this afterwards, but them kind of waving the flag and saying, here we go, we got the black person here, we did it.
It's a continual struggle to get people of various um, diverse communities and cultures coming into these different projects. And I think, yeah, of course, they are waving the flag to show, hey, we're doing our bit to do something. You're right. They need to do more in terms of it's not only just bringing up the writer, the editor, or whatever, bringing them up through the bottom up. The people you don't see, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But it should also, you're right, it should also be the person who's talented to do this too. So it's a mix because there's always been the argument where like, oh, we're only getting the most talented person. And when you look at that, no one else but a certain group of people are the most talented. And you're like, wait, there's something wrong here. How do we get it a little bit more inclusive? How do we get more people involved? How do we get more people to be represented in these type of things? Because, hey, one of your biggest movie markets are in Marvel, what 20-30% are African Americans and Latinos and Asians. And so why not have more of them be more involved in front of the camera, behind the camera? You don't know what they're going to bring. And some of the things that they do bring is pretty good. And all we're saying is give people who are who have the bona fides, who have gone out there, have worked as writers or playwriters or actors and directors and stuff. And because we're not talking about front, we're talking about behind the scenes. Have them come out there and give them the opportunities. I think Marvel, by doing this, it's a good thing. I agree too that they should be able to go out and get the jobs for Captain America and Thor. It should just be limited. Oh well, we're just going to put her on the Blade movie or on the thing. But I can't understand. Let them get their feet wet. You need to be a much more inclusive thing where you have people in different in different levels of the organization, as opposed to just, well, we're just going to do this particular movie here, and we're going to put everybody who's going to be the director and writer over here, who we need to be diverse. And that doesn't necessarily work. If you really want to make the whole thing work, you have to give everybody an opportunity and see who shines and stuff. And if they don't, that's one thing, then you can go. But there's always going to be the talented people in every community. And if you give everybody a chance, you'll see what happens. And guess what? You're going to get a better story, probably get a bigger audience. You're going to discover things that you did not expect. Like, oh, wow, that's a different aspect of trying to tell that story that I wouldn't have gone through, you know? So I'm all for it. And I said, good luck for her, especially someone who's coming through. She's not coming from Ivy Leagues or high-powered colleges. She's coming from Hunter College, bro, you know, which is a city university college. And I got to big it up. Booyaka! You know, so enough respect that she got it there, you know. So P, anything you want to contribute, or are we done on this?
We're done. I think I guess with all the complaints, to say that congrats, and hopefully, I mean, the screenwriters are the lowest person on the totem pole in the films, and usually the script you started with is not the script you end with, but the credit you'll still get. So hopefully it'll lead to more stuff, which of course it will. She's got too many credits for it not to work. So
yeah, I mean that's a good thing. I mean, you have those credits, and that's what in movies, that's the big thing. When what do you say, your roles, when people can go back and say, hey, they did this, they did that. That's your resume there. You see what you've done and what you've proved. You worked on these big projects. Watchmen was a critical success. It was a big success for HBO. You have Hunters on Amazon Prime. Not exactly a widely shown channel, but the show seems to have been, people who did see it did like it. So I mean, I think that it's all a plus. It's all a plus.
yeah, but the thing is like this: you don't want the thing of, say, I'm the lead writer, or I'm Kevin Feige, and you're the script writer. At the end of the day, someone's going to look at it and say, who makes those Marvel movies? Kevin Feige. And you say, well, I co-wrote it. And they'll look at you. You're a waiter at that restaurant around the block, aren't you? And you're trying to split the bill, aren't you? That's what you want, the money. You splitting the money with your friend. It's like that sort of thing. It's like, what did you do? What parts in it did you do? That sort of thing. And ultimately, the Marvel thing, since they had sort of a formula, you know,
sort of
hard to.
Sort of. It's full length. It's a full formula. What are you talking about? I mean, we talked about it. Everybody's talked about it, bro.
This
slot in, slot out.
For their hero's formula, the hero journey formula.
You know, I mean, it's slot in, slot out. That's what it basically says. You can do that and get, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all I got to say. Good luck.
Good luck. Spin a rack. Out. Anything else you want to rock on? You watch anything lately?
I'm watching.